Hey everyone, today's video is actually coming from the car. Yes, I am driving and videoing at the same time, but today's video, the story actually was set in the car, so I thought that would be a little more interesting. So my son, we call him Bub, he was just a baby, and we were on our way to Walmart from our house there in Hardy, and the highway there was actually 4-lane. So we were on our way to Walmart. He was in the back seat, in the car seat, and so you know, have you ever been on a 4-lane highway and it's like when people pass by, you don't know whether to look at them or do you just like keep staring forward? Or do you like give them the nod, you know? Just a whole bunch of different funny things that we do when we're looking at people as they pass by. I'm one of those that I always, when they pass by, I don't look at them, but then once they get past me, I'll look at them. So I know who it is, or I'll look at them, you know. So my son was in the car with me, and I noticed all these people who were passing by just kept staring as they were passing by, and I'm like, what the heck are they staring at? You know, they just gaze at the car, you know. And so the first person that done it, I didn't think much about it, right? Then the second person done it, third person done it, fourth person done it. I'm like, what are they staring at? And so I just happened to look in the rear view mirror when the next person was starting to come up beside me, and I'm going to see if they're going to stare at me. And when I looked in the rear view mirror, I saw Bub. He was out of his car seat. He was back in the back seat. But you know what he was doing? He was licking the windows, just like a dog would do. He's sitting there licking the windows. Now, you may say, how did he get out of the car seat? Well, back then, the car seats weren't a 5-point harness like they are today. It was just like one snap, you know, and then they were in the car seat. So he was out of that car seat, and he was licking the windows, and all these people were passing by looking at him as he's licking the windows. So finally get to Walmart, get him, you know, out of the car seat, and then of course afterwards, what did I have to do? I had to go back and wash all the windows because Bub had licked every one of them. All right, so let's talk about pointing to him. Have you ever talked to somebody about being a Christian, and some people is like, no, I don't want to be a Christian because there's too many rules, right? Too many restrictions. I feel like I'm tied down. All those kinds of excuses. But as we know, even from our everyday lives, that rules are in place, right, to help us. Think about driving rules. Think about, you know, the law, of course. All those different types of things. And so we have rules in place in the Bible to help us. One set of rules that I think about that comes first to mind is the 10 Commandments. God knew that we needed rules as people, as sinners. And those rules help keep order in our lives. You know, some of the easiest ones to remember in the 10 Commandments are, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not do, thou shalt honor thy father and mother. You know, thou shalt not take the Lord thy God's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. Okay, so all of those rules are there to help us as Christians. The ones in the New Testament, there's 2, that you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Okay? The second one that I'm thinking about is love thy neighbor as thyself. Truly, if you love God with all your heart and you love your neighbor, and that's not just talking about your next door neighbor, that's talking about whoever, right? Then the Lord will honor that. He has those rules in place, just like the rule of having your kid in the car seat. That's there to protect that child. Even though that child sometimes hates that rule, right? They hate being restrained. They hate being restricted, right? But that rule is there for their safety. And that's the way it is with the Lord. There's a lot of things in our lives that when we do what the Bible tells us to, then in actuality, that is going to help us. It's going to help keep us safe. It's going to help keep us out of problems. And so if we look at it, we really have to look at it as, Lord, you're trying to help protect me. And I thank Him for that. Every day, we should be thankful for those rules that help protect us as Christians, that actually helps us have a closer walk with God and allows us to point to Him. Have a great day, and I will see you next week.